dark side.
2, 1, 0.
Hey, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to another Expo panel here in Blackpool. And today we've got Mark Stevenson and Kevin Bayliss, who are responsible for the awesome Yooka-Laylee. They've just got the latest game, came out just a few days ago. So we're going to run through some questions, talk about their epic history in gaming, and then after a while we'll throw it out to you guys to ask some questions. So who wants to be the first victim?
Hello everybody, you alright? Yeah. We spent any money? Two.
First technical issue of the day, we're doing good.
Mic check, 1, 2.
This is where we'll start doing some freestyle rap or something. Not me.
Two. There we go. Okay, yeah, go far away.
Right, okay Kevin, well could you tell us a bit about your career so far in gaming?
I think I went to college for a little while, got a bit further putting my hands up, and just after seeing an advert in the paper, in the local paper, and it was a company called Rare Limited that were looking for artists. I think I'd already applied to a couple of different companies, like Elite, because they were actually based quite close to where I was living. And my parents dropped me off at this old farmhouse in a village called Twycross. Left me there for a little while and I went upstairs, and then Tim Stamper brought out this piece of artwork from, I think it was Old Underworld. It was the original piece of artwork, and he said, yeah, we used to be called Ultimate Play the Game. And my jaw just hit the floor, and so he showed me around, and then says, "Is this the kind of thing you could do?" And I said, "Yeah." Not thinking I could do any of it, and a couple of days later, I got a letter through the post saying, "Yeah, we'd like to start next week if we could." And I think there was about 4 people at the company at the time, and that was the 2 brothers and a couple of other software engineers. So I was basically in the graphics department with Tim. And I started off producing NES games, doing graphics for some of the quiz-based TV shows, which were for the NES in the US. And I think the first thing I did was some prizes for Wheel of Fortune. So I just started off a little bit sort of easy with things that weren't animated, and then Tim sort of showed me the ropes and showed me the whole process of putting graphics together. And moved on to conversions and a few original products like Code Triangle, and sort of went on from there. So that was my youth. Rather than going out drinking, I was there every night making NES games. So that was me.
Yeah, because you were 16, you said, when you started going?
Just turned 16.
Yeah, like the dream job, just to like walk straight in. And I'm sure you weren't necessarily thinking of Wheel of Fortune graphics, but what way to just walk in at 16 and start off?
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, I can remember talking to my careers officer saying what I wanted to do when I was at school. I said, I just want to draw the title pages of when you put a ZX Spectrum on and you see this great picture loading. I just wanted to do that, and he said you were living in Cloud Cuckoo Land. So I think I went for a couple of interviews, and that's when I went to the college instead, because the industry didn't really exist. There wasn't really a good way of getting into the industry at the time, so I was really lucky to be living just sort of 15-minute drive away from Rare Limited. So it was on a plane really. I was very lucky.
Yeah, well it sounds like sort of every one of us here would have wanted to at 16 to walk into a games company and be told like, yeah, can you start next week? That's the ideal. Mark, what about you? Were you one of your first major games was Donkey Kong Country?
Yeah, I mean I was very fortunate. I mean, obviously I didn't get to work on the Wheel of Fortune, but my first game that I did work on was Donkey Kong Country, which was like absolutely amazing. And I went to college after school. I did art, studied graphic design, and specialised in illustration. When I left college, I spent, I think it was about a year, applying for jobs, working for my dad, putting up conservatories, and I applied for a few places. I think I almost ended up at Signosis up in Liverpool. They offered me a job at the time, and then they messing me around with the start date. I think it was around the time that Sony were buying them out, so I think they had a lot of stuff going on. And in the meantime, Rare came back to me and said come in for an interview, which I did. And, yeah. I was actually interviewed by Carol Stamper, Tim Stamper's wife, and she really liked my portfolio, and she phoned Kev and told him to come over and said he's got to look at this. Kev came in and
You can see we did all the real hard work over the years though, because Mark's hair was down his back. So.
yeah.
That's the stress.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I was offered a job. I started in, I think it was September 93. As Kev said, Rare was based at like a converted farmhouse. So the first couple of weeks I was in the main building, which is kind of where they did all the Game Boy development, and they had the Q&A testing. And I was just given we had like proprietary hardware back then. It was like a graphics tablet with a pen. It was all like custom hardware and custom software, kind of like deluxe paint at the time, really. And it had all been like built and created in-house. And about the second week I was there, Tim Stamper came around. He was showing some people around that I think they were potentially looking at a business partnership with, and he stopped at my desk and asked me to demonstrate the graphics tablet. So I just did a quick doodle of a character, thought nothing of it, and the next day he came over and saw me and took me over to the barn where they were making Donkey Kong, showed me all that, and like put me on the team, and so that was pretty amazing. And from there I just ended up doing Donkey Kong games. Did Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3, and then Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, so character design is obviously something both of you have done since the start of your careers. How do you feel your work has evolved and led you to the projects you're working on now?
I think one of the cool things of like working back then, teams were small, I think the country games were like maybe dozen to 15 people. I mean, even on Donkey Kong 64 and the Nintendo 64, it was probably a core team of about 18 to 20 people. So I think you tended to wear a lot of hats, yes, I'd make characters, but I'd also make backgrounds and props, and do animation, and do loads of promo art and UI. And I think as games got bigger and bigger, people tended to have to start to specialise, and I guess I wasn't a huge fan of specialisation. I liked having my finger in a lot of pies, and that's what kind of going to Playtonic has allowed me to do, because we're back to being a small company of around 30 people, and my workload can be enormously varied across a project. I mean, we did the Kickstarter, and on that I got to do stuff that I'd never done before, because we had manuals and stuff that we had printed, and I had to produce print-ready artwork for all this stuff and box art, and so it's great to just have that diversity.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the wonderful things about working on indie games and smaller company games and things, because you can put your heart and soul into every part of the process and feel like every member of the team is able to put on as many hats as they want and put in every bit that they can.
I mean, absolutely. I always like to think that our games are a product of the people on the team. There's a little bit of everybody in there, the humour, the style, and it's a very personal thing compared to like a massive, few hundred person team production.
It works really well. It gives you a bit more creativity as well. I mean, we're sitting together at the minute. We've got myself, Mark, Steve Males, there's another quite well-known artist who created, what's it called? Banjo-Kazooie, something like that. Basically, Donkey Kong did it. And we also had Gary Talbot, who's a phenomenal animator, he's really good. And the four of us sit together, and that is the character. Concept, animation, design, modelling departments, and we all sort of pass it around, and it just works really well with a small team. So.
Yeah, and the passion really shows through in the games you produce. I mean, you look at it was a record-breaking 2 million Kickstarter for the first of these games, and people still have a massive appetite for these games, and they can feel all of the love the team have put into them. I mean, the Kickstarter was funded for the first one in 40 minutes, is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, we had a fairly, we weren't too ambitious with our target initially, because, we knew there was interest, but we didn't know how much really, but then we soon found out because
40 minutes
40
later.
minutes, and I think within 24 hours we'd hit 1 million as well.
Put
So,
some pressure on us too.
Yeah.
We've really got to do this somehow. Yeah, but it just enabled us to make the game bigger, better than we originally thought we were going to be able to, sort of, what we were going to be able to conjure up with the funding that we had. Because I think it was only about eight or nine of us at the company at one point, so it enabled us to take on a few more engineers and some more artists and get the thing done. So.
Yeah, well, knowing in 40 minutes sort of 80,000 people are going to turn up and say they desperately want to see you finish that game must have spurred you on quite a lot.
I think I was actually, I was down as a stretch goal to do some concept art along with Ed Bryan, and then I was commuting down to, sorry, I'm not looking at anybody, look at you. I was commuting down from somewhere up in Ellesmere Port actually down to Burton-on-Trent, and it was just some nice atmosphere where we were working. I just said, how about if I just come down here and work permanently here, and so we decided to do that, and the company started to grow a bit then, didn't it? So,
yeah.
I've been there ever since.
80,000 people on your credits list was quite a challenge as well, just trying to get that to happen. We did actually put quite a lot of effort into the credits as well for Yooka, in terms of, we felt, if people are proud of supporting us, they probably want to see their name on there, so we created a credit system that lets you fast forward, rewind, stop and pause, just so that, people could find their names if they wanted to, so, and just managing 80,000, well, it wasn't quite 80,000, but managing that amount of names was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I can imagine. And just wonderful to see how much support and how much enthusiasm there was for this kind of game, because a lot of gaming, obviously, things change, and there still is such a love for these kind of collectathon platforming games. And obviously now you've created another one, so Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Could you tell us a little bit how you've evolved the game on for this new one?
One of the things we set out to achieve when we started Playtonic, we've talked about our kind of Playtonic universe with our characters. We've got Yooka-Laylee, we've got the Bad Guy Capital B, we've got tons of characters. And our ambition was that, any one of these characters would be good enough to star in its own game. And it doesn't matter what genre that game is as well. So this time we've chosen to come back with Yooka-Laylee as the main characters, but we have gone for, we're calling it a hybrid platforming adventure because it's part kind of classic 2D platformer and part kind of exploration in like a 3D overworld. I think we spent a lot more time. I think with the Kickstarter on Yooka, we had lots of things that we wanted to get in because, these were the kind of things that were in the games that we were trying to bring back. So in Yooka we had minecart tracks and arcade games and simple co-op element, and there was a lot there. So I think we find Impossible Lair is a much more focused product. I think some people probably thought it was going to be easier to make a 2D platformer. It's not. It's really quite hard because you can't hide anything. The character control has to be really spot on. And, it was a lot more challenging, I think, than people were expecting.
Yeah, what was the thinking between moving from a more 3D game to being more of a full 2D game?
So as I said, the original Yooka had a lot of things, and at one point it also had plans for 2D platforming sections, but we had to cut that because we were a pretty small team and we were trying to do a lot as well. So there was always an interest there in doing a 2D platformer. I think there's like a heritage there as well. There's a few of us that worked on Donkey Kong Country games.
I think that when I first came down to see you guys, the first thing you showed me was a 2D. It looks pretty much like what we've got now in the current games. So.
But we wanted to keep an element of kind of the 3D platform, the exploration and the puzzle solving stuff as well. So that's kind of how we settled on rather than having like a lot of 2D platformers, you have kind of like a map where you go from dot to dot and it's 2D, which can be quite intense. So I think the way we've done it allows you to kind of have a bit of downtime in between and wander around, you know. So, you know, in some ways, hopefully it appeals to people that really enjoy the 3D platform as well.
Yeah, it sort of is reminiscent of a lot of the games you played in your youth, and obviously you guys are bringing your own experiences and any elements from games you played when you were younger before you were developing them into these games as well, and I think that's really lovely to see. And obviously there's still a massive appetite for this kind of gaming. I mean, I hear that sort of retro style gaming's sort of coming back a bit. It's a little bit popular at the moment, and so it's probably quite an ideal time to be releasing this game. And the responses to it so far, I mean, you must be really just so happy with all the reviews coming out for the game so far.
Fantastic reviews. Haven't really had any negative ones at all. And I think it appeals to a lot of people because it's got both sides of two different genres there. You've got the overhead view, you've got the 2D sideways scrolling stuff, and then you've got all the new elements that were chucked in there, like the state changes. So, I mean, I don't have the patience to play a lot of games all the way through now, and I'm quite happy to sit and wander around the overworld levels on it and just listen to the music on it. It's a fantastic soundtrack that we've got on there. But yeah, it's a huge sort of tribute to all of our favourite games sort of rolled up into one there. We're big Zelda fans and big DK fans, so I think a lot of our main experience comes from the 2D side of things. So for us, it's kind of nostalgic game to make as well as to play. So we've kind of done some of it before, but it's just an enhancement really.
Yeah, sort of bringing all your favourite elements from the things we remember, but sort of taking those nostalgic elements but updating them so they're a little bit like how you remember they were and not actually how they were, which is what happens when you kind of get out your NES or Jaguar in my case and put something in and go, wow, Cyberwalk isn't quite as well handling as I thought it was. So you've brought all of the elements people love but updated it and wrapped it all up in these absolutely gorgeous graphics. And as you were saying, you're making a whole world, so every character, if they're designed to be complicated enough, they could star in their own game. Are you considering spinning any of them off into other games and things in the future?
We're always considering lots of things, you know. I think that's one of the hardest things with working in the creative business is, you know, you've got so many ideas and stuff that you want to pursue, but you've only got so much time. So we've always, got stuff that we're looking at. Possibilities.
It's all secret, they can't tell us.
Yeah.
Obviously we're at the stage now, we're in transition stage, so we're in a bit of a limbo development stage at the moment, trying out different ideas. And we've got two sorts of different ideas that we posted down, we began working on, but things change so much. You have one good idea. I think a few weeks ago we had a game jam, didn't we? And we come up with some amazing ideas with that, and so you never know what you're going to discover when we all sort of go off and do our own thing like that. So I think, as always, you have a plan for something, but it tends to go off on a tangent and become something much bigger than it is. So we don't even know what we're going to end up releasing in the next couple of years, but we've started on a path already. So.
And it's brilliant in a smaller company. You can just have a game jam, which is where you sort of get a lot of beers and spend 24 hours coming up with as many games as you can. And sometimes you have the most amazing ideas through that creative process. And if you were still part of much larger companies, you wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. Have you come up with any sort of crazy ideas in these game jams or any humorous stories from them?
We can't tell you why they were, obviously, but we were obviously taking so many attributes from some of the characters that we came up with. Like Hamish's was a great game, wasn't it? That's got a lot of potential. But yeah, we've got several ideas, and it wouldn't surprise me if we sort of put them all into one and make a bit of a mashup of the ideas. And the other day we were sitting there with a great big whiteboard, and it's just full of different coloured post-it notes, and everybody was standing up in turn and putting an idea. So we're just having a bit of a brainstorming session, and when you look at it back, you think, what the hell were we thinking? But half those ideas will probably go into the game that we do next. So.
I think one of the great things about being a small company as well is that anybody can have an idea and it can make it into the game. When we were developing Impossible Lair, we went through a period where probably every week, every Friday afternoon, there'd be certain levels and everybody on the team would play it, and we'd have a spreadsheet and people would provide feedback, and that's how the game evolved. And it's really interesting when you do that, to see the things that come from the different people and the different disciplines that you don't think of yourself. So I think it's really important to, be able to give everybody on the team a voice.
Yeah, and again, just being part of that kind of community, being a smaller team, where you do feel like you can raise your hand, you can put all those ideas in together. So thinking back to Yooka-Laylee, the characters themselves, how did you come up with the concepts for them? Were there any other animals you considered making them before?
So Steve Mayles created those characters. I think there were some different concepts I saw. I remember seeing one of a tiger. I think the main kind of driving thing behind it was we wanted to kind of pick creatures that had a kind of, you could create moves for them that had kind of natural logic. So obviously with Chameleon, it's interesting, he's got the long tongue, he's got the kind of camouflage element. I mean, obviously we don't do those quite literally, you take some artistic license with how you do that. And with the bat as well, she's got like the sonar abilities and stuff. So we wanted that, we didn't want to just pick, any old characters and then just give them moves that were just video game moves that didn't make sense for the characters.
Yeah.
Still yet to have the tiger as a main character. We tried that one at Rare, I remember it was Timber the Tiger was the main character and Diddy Kong Racing, and I know Steve's a big fan of tigers too, so I remember seeing the concept art with the tiger character. But we ended up with the Chameleon, I think it worked out really well, because he looks unique. I don't see anybody else's characters look the same as that. I know instantly who they are, so yeah, but
Although I want to say having a green main character is a nightmare because everything in the background always seems to be green, grass, bushes, trees, so keeping them visible is fun.
So that was one of the challenges that forced the creativity with background design. I wouldn't have thought of that. Making your character green suddenly makes your level design remarkably difficult. That's a top tip for any budding indie developers in the audience there. Maybe making them sort of purple and stripy would have been easier for you. What were the other kind of challenges you faced apart from the fact Chameleon's green?
I guess when we were at Rare, we always used to kind of have our own kind of engines and stuff, game engines that I was pretty. Every team had its own engine at the time, which was not very sensible, but that's the way it was. So with since we've been at Playtonic, we use Unity, so there's an element of kind of everybody kind of getting a bit start learning the do's and don'ts, and also performance as well. For a lot of us, it's the first time we've gone multi-platform as well, because obviously working at Rare, we always tended to target a single console, so that's been a really interesting challenge as well, of getting the right balance between how many polygons you use and how many joints you use to create the characters. So, technical challenges, I would say, mostly. Creating characters is something that Steve just does. It's his thing, he's amazing at it. He's recently had his two characters, the Banjo-Kazooie ones and King K, all make it into Smash, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is awesome to see. I mean, good character designs are iconic and they will last for generations. I mean, you look at some of the old characters that we played, and people would recognise those on the t-shirt even if they were born decades after those games came out, and hopefully your characters will go down in history in the same way because they are incredibly striking.
Let's hope so.
Noticed another thing we just mentioned that when we did the first game, obviously it was a 3D platform adventure. And so you saw the characters from a different angle, but when you're looking at it from a side-on view in a 2D environment, and when you're looking at it from an overhead view in the overworld, we had to make some changes to the characters. And so, again, because we're such a young company, and because the characters are quite new, they've actually evolved a little bit already from the first game, and I guess they'll get tweaked again over time. So it's just nice to see how things evolve. And so that was another thing we encountered when we were putting the characters together.
Yeah, having to change the sprites and things.
Yeah, it's interesting as well because I worked on the original Donkey Kong Country games, and obviously it was side-on, pre-rendered, and I used to do the animations. And then when we moved into 3D on the DK64, you take some of those animations and apply them to the models, and if you saw them at any angle other than the originally intended, you think, that's not very good. So you have to kind of change like what you're doing and how you work just through a change of perspective.
Yeah, it is incredible how much difference it makes depending on what angle you were looking at an artwork. I tried to learn Maya at one point and realised that all I could do was render things on 2D, and then you'd rotate the model and everything would be broken. So I appreciate that there's also challenges moving the other way as well now.
The characters were also, because it was a lot more forgiving, the hardware at the time, you've got a CRT monitor or whatever, and it was just everything sort of blended into a nice curve, but when you sort of put that on a HD monitor, and you see the lines and the silhouette of the characters, some of the things just look awful. When we did the Killer Instinct characters, we used to actually be able to see all of the eyes on them and made the eyes super huge because it only got like a pixel that you could use, and when the character was moving, you could track where the eye was and you could see that, but when you wanted to do any promotional artwork, it just got like this great big cut out eye shapes on their faces, and so it holds up really nicely on a small 320 by 240 resolution, but when you're enlarged it, just some graphics look really ropey. But now we've got no excuse, we have to make them wrong first time.
But tricks like that still count now as well, because like when we're making characters in 3D, we'll often give over way more UV space to the actual eyes than percentage-wise than to the rest of the character.
Yeah, well, it's what people emote with, and of course back on old CRT screens, literally every pixel counted. So I guess, yeah, you would make, I hadn't bothered about that Killer Instinct. Yeah, their eyes must have been huge.
Yeah,
on
the second game as well, I made the eyes even bigger because I wanted more of a cartoon, colourful look, but a lot of people didn't like that. They preferred the look of the first game, but I mean, if I was to do it again now, I suppose you go for ultra realism, but I mean, it worked right, it looked right at the time. But 320, 240 resolution, when you look at it, it isn't many pixels for a character, but I think that whole 3D modelling thing, when things move, if you looked at a lot of the frames, in particular, you couldn't see a lot of definition. It was only when it was moving you started to track some detail. Good example would be Donkey Kong, when we converted that to the Game Boy, and the characters they still hold up. It's like three different shades of green, but because it had got the solidity from the rendered graphics, you can see exactly what it is. And as long as it's moving, it looks good.
Yeah, I think as long as your character designs are strong enough and they have features that will translate like that, you can then move them to any size and any platform and any format, which gives you a lot of flexibility. Starting with incredible character designs and interesting stories will always give you the options to make more expressive artwork on as many platforms as you want, really. So this is a really, really beautiful game, and the reviews are absolutely incredible. Were there any other kind of interesting parts of the development or feedback from the first game that directly influenced how this one plays?
Our first goal was frame rate, wasn't it? We had the luxury of a console to use as a platform, a benchmark platform, which was a Switch this time around, whereas before we were basically developing and holding on PC, weren't we? So we were sort of doing a bit back to front. But this time around, I think if we knew that we could get the thing running optimised and really nice, silky smooth on Switch, we were okay with the consoles. But other than that, I think there was a few headaches. The background guys had a lot of obstacles thrown at them with some of the way it drew the graphics, transparencies, with a lot of water levels, and I think water was one of the most costly things to draw and process throughout the game, so we had to optimise all the water shaders and we just make it we were going to manage it, but we didn't really get any serious problems.
I think one of the things I guess is the 3D overworld is a lot kind of tighter space than I think a lot of the levels in Yooka were quite big, so we definitely made an conscious effort to kind of tighten up the space and the density of stuff to do within that space.
For people that haven't had a chance to try out the new game yet, 'cause it only came out on the 8th, could you tell them a little bit about the storyline?
The story. Okay. So the first game ended where Yooka-Laylee, big capital B, the bad guy, kind of ended up getting knocked into another magical tome. So we kind of pick up from where that was. It's a bit later. Capital B's, who's been trapped in this tome, has basically taken it over. So it's up to Yooka-Laylee to kind of go in and fix the mess that they made. This new tome is populated by other bees. There's a queen bee, and Capital Bee's basically created what he thinks is an impenetrable fortress, which is called his Impossible Lair. You can pretty much play that level from the start of the game, but it is very, very tough. And so throughout the rest of the game, you'll explore the overworld and unlock levels. At the end of every level, you'll rescue a battalion member, which is like a bee that will help you, and they basically take an extra hit for you in the Impossible Lair. So there's 48 altogether, so you can get like an extra 48 hits in the lair, and it's still pretty tough, I think. But I mean, we've seen like speedrunners crack it already and do it without taking any hits. Yeah.
What's it like seeing speedrunners already running through this game as you've been out like a week or so?
Blows my mind. It's like, I mean, I haven't finished the Impossible Lair yet. I'm embarrassed to admit. But I have been very busy trying to finish the game, so yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I think, you know, there was a lot of interest in the first game with speedrunners and stuff, especially when they found ways to glitch out of the environment and skip bits, which I guess is what speedrunners love doing. So yeah, hopefully they are enjoying the challenge of the Impossible Lair.
Yeah, it's sort of the ultimate playtest for you guys if they manage to find ways to speedrun the entire thing, glitch through levels. They might even give you some ideas for awesome power-ups and things, because you can keep powering up these characters throughout the games, can't you?
We've got the tonics that were introduced to that were part of the first game. But if you look on YouTube, you can see some videos now just showing you the ins and outs of the new game. And you can change a lot of the characteristics of the way the character plays, or you can change a lot of the just visuals with the game and add some filters or some special effects. Ukele-Laylee, an enormous head, you can put a cartoon shape on it, or there's a lot of things you can do with that to play with. But some of them are actually, you can equip some tonics and they can make the levels a lot easier, or a lot more difficult if you want to. You can sort of customise it as you want. But another thing I like about this one is we haven't forgotten the puns. It's a sort of completely puntastic, cheesy storyline, and so if you read the dialogue as you go through, there's a lot of hidden jokes in there, I guess.
Use of the word be quite a lot as well.
Yeah, well, that's our sense of humour.
Yeah, which I think is a wonderful thing to have in these kind of games. Having brightly coloured cartoon games and bringing a bit more joy to the world, I think is a brilliant thing to be able to do with your characters as well. Awesome, I think we're getting about to the point of the day when we can start throwing it out to questions. So if anyone would like to ask these guys some questions, then raise your hand now. Got one immediately at the back. And a very nice man with a microphone will come around and ask you some questions.
No hard ones.
No hard ones, I say. It's the end of the weekend.
What is the swear word now? As you have kind of brought back a dead genre such as the 3D platforming games, is there any other old dead genres that you'd like to try out? Say isometric puzzly platformers, as an example.
That's a tough question. You said no hard ones, they didn't listen. Who's going to take that one?
We actually had an isometric puzzly kind of bit in one of the levels in the first game. In the first game, you could expand the books, and which would increase the level. And in the kind of icy world, it actually introduced the isometric palace. So that was kind of like a whole throwback to that kind of Night Lord kind of thing, play style. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of games and genres I think we'd love to cover. It's, you know, just got to work out which ones.
I think just about every one of them was mentioned in the brainstorming session last Wednesday as well. I think isometric was one of them, but then so was every other genre, so we'll just mix something up, I think.
We've got a lot more games to make than a ukulele in every single genre, I think is the challenge you've now been set. Are there any other questions? We've got someone in the front here.
What was it like working for Rare under the scrutiny of Nintendo?
I maybe Kev's got a different perspective because he was more kind of senior management, but I kind of felt like they kind of left us to get on with stuff, you know. They didn't really interfere much. The only kind of thing I remember hearing about that came from Mr. Miyamoto on the original Donkey Kong Country was, I think we added a move. There was, towards the end, there was more attempts to kind of make the Donkey and Diddy feel more different as characters in terms of the weight and movement speed, and we also introduced a move where Donkey Kong could slap the ground and find secret hidden bananas. But apart from that, I don't really remember there being any massive kind of directives or...
They were good to work with because they were very helpful actually. There was a couple of times we had Diddy Kong Racing was a good example. We got the game ready to go. It was actually being developed at the same time as Banjo-Kazooie. And Nintendo wanted a product to put out, and they'd already got Mario Kart out there, which was their own franchise. And he says, well, we can put this out, but we'll put a lot more marketing behind it if we can put a main character in there that's something that people know. So we switched Timber the Tiger for Diddy Kong. And also the same sort of thing happened with Star Fox, the Dinosaur Planet, which was originally again a tiger as the main character, which became Sable Wolf, and then obviously became Fox. But no, they just, as Mark said, they always get on with everything, and I think that's why we had such a good relationship with them from the start. They knew what Tim and Chris could do, and when the company was small, they saw the reputation that we made for ourselves doing so many different conversions and so many different sorts of quiz shows and this and that and the other. And then once we started with the original products like Battletoads, I think we started to get more interested. And once they saw the Donkey Kong demo and the 3D stuff, I think that's when they realised there was some potential in the company. So, but we all had a good relationship with them, so it was very easy to work with.
Unless you wanted to include a tiger, apparently.
No tiger games.
No tiger games, and that's why we know. We've learned that they don't like tiger games. Is there anyone else who's got any questions? Got someone at the front here?
If you were to develop a sequel, an official sequel to Yooka-Laylee, would you consider adding an element reminiscent of the stop and swap from Banjo-Kazooie?
The infamous stop and swap. I'm not sure how you'd add an element like a stop and swap, because it was kind of a quirk of the hardware at the time. I think there was, I think it was something to do with the latent power in the console, that if you took the cartridge out and put another one in, there was still stuff in memory from the previous game. So I'm not sure if you can do that on the Switch. But I mean, we've seen, it's been joked at in later games at Rare as well. So I think we had an ice key in Yooka as well, again, which was a reference to the stop and swap. So yeah, I'm sure if we can get a cheap laugh out of it, then definitely.
Definitely works with all the puns and things you've got going in the game so far to be adding in. Are there any other Easter eggs hidden in there?
In the first game?
In either of the Ukele games?
They wouldn't be Easter eggs if we start telling them.
Alright then, just put me in my place, right?
It is something you have to be careful of, you know.
We do have to look through the background graphics sometimes to just see that there aren't any shadows that just happen to fall in a particular way that might look like something that shouldn't be in the game.
Accidentally on purpose, yeah.
And you have to check through certain artists' works, because you know they can't be trusted to not put in something that perhaps shouldn't be in there.
Yeah, I think artists do that as a challenge to the rest of the studio. Just hide little things in, hide their favourite characters or a little caricature of themselves somewhere in the background.
Yeah, I think that was always a kind of rare thing as well, trying to get stuff in, you know, very double entendre names for levels, and I think if I remember correctly on Jet Force Gemini, all the world names were kind of anagrams of rude things.
That's good to know. I'm going to now start looking for these instead of only the time. I'm going to give me a mission for the rest of my days, like try and do all of the anagrams. It's an extra kind of IQ test I'm going to fail with each game now. Have we got any other questions out there? Raise your hands. Got a few people at the back there. Making our guy with the mic run. We could have got a step counter on him with this.
If you were to do like a port of Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair to an old system, which one would you choose and why?
Well, James has already done it, hasn't he? I think it'd would be the Super Nintendo. Actually, our software engineer Jens Westermeyer, he's also a real wizard with hardware, and as a gift for the whole company the other day, he sort of tweeted it. He's given everybody. He actually made a Super Nintendo cartridge. You got the printed circuit board with a ROM on it with a Playtonic logo, and he's put a personalised message on it to everybody in the company to say, well done for working on the game. And he's actually converted the title page to the Super NES, so you fire it up, and it looks like you've got Impossible Lair playing on the Super Nintendo, but then you press the start button, and it works, and you've got, oh my god, how much has he done? But it's, you just got Yooka-Laylee, and you can control it moving left and right. Really nice looking backgrounds. It holds up really well, but yeah, I think it would be Super Nintendo, so we've already made a start on it.
It would have to be the Nintendo 64 for me, just because that's the console that holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I think the character designs would hold up across all of them, and it'd be awesome to see them in all those different resolutions and formats. Right, is there another question out there in the back? Do I see another hand raised? I can see some people waving. Hello.
Me again.
Hello.
Trouser Snake, will he get his own game?
We've got all the hard questions, haven't we?
I mean, who knows, you know, we said like we wanted to build characters that could potentially, you know, star in their own games.
It's got Rextro. He's the one that needs his next game, I think, on your t-shirt there. That's your creation, you came with it.
I think it'd be cool to see Trouser in his own game. I'm just not sure what kind of game that would be, you know. I don't think he'd be great in a fighting game, having no limbs. I would love to see. I mean, there's loads of characters we've created I'd love to see in their own games.
Yeah, I think the puns might get a bit out of hand with that particular character choice. I think I know who asked that question. Right, is there any other questions? Raise your hands if you'd like to ask these guys any questions. Or have we got through all of you guys already? I've got one over here. Thank you very much. Maybe I'll go with the microphone run again. You can keep asking questions at completely opposite ends of the room, that would be awesome. Oh yeah.
Hi, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Could you make another game like that? And whose idea was that?
So Conker's Bad Fur Day was attributed really to Chris Seaver. He was kind of the mastermind behind it. A lot of the voices and stuff as well. I mean, he has his own separate company now, Gory Detail. I mean, there isn't actually anybody at Playtonic that worked on the Conker games, but I mean, never say never to anything, you know. If we think we have a good idea for something and we think there's going to be an audience for it, we'd consider anything.
Conker did actually start off on a completely different direction, but it was a much cuter game to begin with, and then Chris sort of took it in this more adult sort of direction. And I mean, he's still doing some great looking games now. Gory Detail have just released a new one too. And but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit of a different time now, isn't it? I mean, a lot of things that you could get away with in your video games content then is a little bit different now. So we're always kind of cautious about what we can and can't say. There's a snake with trousers on.
It was an interesting U-turn, wasn't it, on Conker? Because I remember seeing the early version and it was like so like saccharine, sweet, cute. It was like ridiculously cute, with like bouncing, singing flowers and stuff. And then it became.
I think it was the tigers as well.
So it was amazing what a U-turn that product made.
Yeah, I think a lot of projects go through those kind of creative U-turns and changes. If you see the prototypes or something, so like the first cuts of movies, you can't often believe that they actually are the prototype for what you ended up with in the end. We've got any other questions from you guys? Hands in the air. You're welcome to ask another one if you've already asked one as well. There we go, making our guy run also. He's going to be running a marathon after having worked on this Q&A.
I'm not taking over, I swear.
That's fine.
Level or world design, do you attack that mechanically or visually first? Do you think?
Mechanically. I'd say mechanically, definitely. You know, it's important to us that gameplay is as good as it can be. I mean, sometimes with the ideas you have to kind of do them together, you know, depending on what you're trying to achieve. But I would definitely say a focus is on mechanically. a lot of the levels we will build in prototype with just white box kind of stuff first.
With Impossible Lair, though, we've got a couple of years ago when we were originally sort of penciling everything out, there's all sorts of different concepts for different levels and different worlds that didn't actually make it in there. So yeah, to begin with, obviously there's a lot of concept work out there, and so how about a level that looks like this and it would play with this, but to get the game out that we wanted to get out to the standard that we wanted to achieve, some things just have to go on the shelf and save for later. But yeah, I think Gav and the designers, they get all the mechanics sorted out in Unity, and then we take some of the concepts, and Dean and Steve and the background artists, and yeah, we've got a few in backgrounds now, haven't we? They've just put the brush over everything and make it look lovely. So, but yeah, there's a lot of ideas that are just sort of waiting to be used for the next game, I think. So, some pretty good. Any more questions? Oh, actually, how many people are in the room here? If there is enough, we've got some copies of the Kickstarter back edition of Yooka-Laylee for PC. So you're welcome to take one if there's enough to go around. Maybe you can share if there's couples or whatever, but we can sign them if you
Or
want.
we can start some kind of fight to the death.
So they're coming to listen to us. So.
I think this near the end it'll be a very slow fight to death. Everyone's quite hungover. It'll be quite entertaining just in itself, I think. But yeah, have we got any final questions? We've got a couple more minutes. Got another hand raised. Oh, 2 more hands raised.
So purely off the back of this, can we now justify the use of the term jumping target?
Sorry, could you say again?
So purely off the back of this, can we now justifiably use the term jumping the tiger?
Jumping the tiger.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? You heard it here first. We're trendsetters. Where was the other raised hand? Go on, you can do it. Thank you.
You say N64 was your era, you loved that one. Going from the SGI work, pre-rendered models of Donkey Kong, and then having to actually do that in real time, what kind of experience was that? Was that like a step back in some ways?
Yeah, in some ways it was quite alarming.
Well, we'd have no limitation because everything was a merge-based sort of curve system, and we just rendered it with as many high-resolution textures, and it was just about frames. And I mean, obviously the characters are very small, you would pick up a lot of the textures, but it was just about making that image look as solid as it could be. And then when we first moved on to the N64, we realised, right, you can have a 64 by 32 texture for this whole character, and you can have maybe 60 polygons for it. Diddy Kong Racing was a good example because you've got 8 different characters in different cars, and then the cars have got wheels, and so the wheels were just going to strip down the polygon count straight away. It's 4 on each vehicle. So we are using the pre-rendered technology and just mixing that in with that, and so we rendered a wheel, and we stuck the wheel sprites on to give us a bit more freedom with the polygons. But yeah, it felt like a step backwards, but in a way it was quite good because we were one of the only companies at the time that were actually experienced with 3D, and so we'd already got experience with the 3D software, but we sort of had to just rein it in a little bit and learn how to work to the limitations of the system. But yeah, it wasn't new to us, but squeezing it into something that we real-time rendered, it was a different ball game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think to try and get the visual fidelity of like what we did on SNES was not going to happen really, I guess. But I think going into 3D it introduced other stuff. So I think one of the kind of eternal battles on the country games was memory. When you render out the graphics, every sprite frame of animation cost memory, and we were always putting the pressure to chop out frames and cut back here and cut back there. But when you go into a 3D system, and it's very different, the animation is a lot lighter on memory because it's basically just some data that follows the joints. So I think certainly with Donkey Kong, we went kind of really big on kind of animation and stuff, you know. It was great. I think it was the first project where we actually started to kind of specialise more, and we actually had just people on the team that just animated. They didn't do any kind of modelling or anything. You know, I mean, enormous effort went into like things like the DK wrapper at the start. I'm not sure if people would say that was good use of animation, but it certainly had a lot of fun making it. So yeah, I mean, it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You lose something, but you also gain something that kind of it just changes the way you have to think about what you do and how you work, really.
Yeah, I think every platform and every medium you use has different constraints and different strengths, and each one forces you to look at things differently, and sometimes those challenges can actually push you to create a much better product because they are constraining you in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed those kind of days where the limits, they're always really hard limits, because it makes you think outside of the box and look for ways to kind of innovate and do things that other people aren't doing. It's a lot harder to do that now because the hardware is, you know, so powerful now anyway.
Yeah, well, as I've learned recently, the hardest thing in the world is pixel art and teletext art. Because you're suddenly trying to make like the letter K and realising you can't. And so it definitely was an incredibly fun challenge on a much smaller level than what you're doing. But
I missed it, the pixel art, though. It's just something really therapeutic about it, I think. So, and when we originally started doing it, we didn't have the editors to work on, so you would draw it in pencil form, and then you'd have a grid with a piece of graph paper, and you'd actually sort of pixelate everything with a marker pen, and if you made a mistake, you got a scalpel, you just scraped it back, and then you decode it, and then you put the sprite position in, and you save it onto a floppy disk, and then I go and sit there with a software engineer, and I put it all in and realised I made a mistake with the data, and the head was down here, and so, but then it just got so easy when we had the in-house editor that we made, and yeah, I mean, it's changed so much, but we're really old, so it's going to change. I thought you guys were about 25, 21, yeah? Yeah, we're running with that, right? I think we've got about time for one more question, if anyone else would like to ask one. Or have we used all of your questions up for the day? No, I think we might have. I think we've all done. Yeah, if you want to come and grab a copy of the Yooka-Laylee PC, you can do. We can sign it, or if you prefer, we didn't.
Yes, if we can get a round of applause for Mark and Becky.